Nice. You guys are Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've been wanting to ask you guys a question. I was on your website, jw.org, and I read an article on like John 1:1.
Yeah.
You know, like the grammar, the Greek grammar, and the context. Can I pull up the article and then just show you guys, and maybe get your thoughts on my question?
The article on
It's on John
website?
1:1. Yeah, on your website. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure,
Yeah.
that's
Okay. So it's called "Was the word God or a God?"
Yeah.
Was the word God or a God? So I'll read like maybe half of it. I don't want to read the entire thing. So it says that question has to be considered when Bible translators handle the first verse of the Gospel of John. In the New World Translation, the verse is rendered in the beginning, the word was, and the word was with God, and the word was a God.
Yeah.
Some other translations render the last part of the verse to convey the thought that the word was divine or something similar. A new translation of the Bible by James Moffat.
Yeah.
So many translations, however, render the last part of John 1:1 and the word was God.
Yeah.
Greek grammar and the context strongly indicate that the New World Translation rendering is correct and that the word should not be identified as the God referred to earlier in the verse. Nevertheless, the fact that the Greek language of the first century did not have an indefinite article a or an leaves the matter open to question in some minds. It is for this reason that a Bible translation in a language that was spoken in the earliest centuries of our common era is very interesting. So I'll stop there. My question is, in Koine Greek, which was what the New Testament was written in,
Yeah.
we didn't have indefinite articles like a or an.
Yeah.
So the New World Translation puts a before God, when other legitimate versions, English translations of the Bible, translate it as the word was God.
Yeah.
Right?
Some.
Many.
Many. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go to the Greek,
Yeah.
the Greek actually, the original Greek says theos ein ha logos. God was the word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we apply the same principle that the New World Translation applies to John 1:1 to other verses in the New Testament where there's no article, like ha, like the, it just wouldn't make sense. So if it's just, let's say, Greek grammar that we're dealing with, and it's just the indefinite article not being there,
Yeah.
being absent because it didn't exist in Koine Greek, and then a translation inserts it or adds it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just Greek grammar, then there's an inconsistency because other places, and I don't know if you have like a few minutes, and I'll leave you guys alone. If I can show you like other examples quickly, where there's no definite article before theos or theon, which is God in the Greek, but the New World Translation doesn't add a. You see what I'm saying? But if it's the context, then that would fall under theology. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not Greek, if the article did not mention anything about Greek grammar, I'd say, okay, it's just the context. And then you can have an interpretation or a bias and say, well, the word is a God. This not the Almighty, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once it mentions grammar, then there's an inconsistency, which I can give you examples of what I mean.
Well, this would be my example is if translators of any NIV, any translation are using their discretion based on context and where they feel the grammar is conveying a message, and then all of a sudden they change for a verse to decide not to put a.
But they don't,
see an
though.
inconsistency
No, but they
there?
don't. Like, let's say the NKJV, the ESV, NIV, they don't put a before, God if it's talking about God. You see what I'm saying?
There will be.
So
many
you'd have to give me an
instances-
example. Like,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
The other thing too is that's a super condensed article. I really appreciate you're very polite. So we get sometimes people are very have very strong
no, I get it.
opinions and
Yeah.
difficult to talk to. So it's really nice talking with you.
Can I show you a couple examples quickly in the New Testament where the word "a" is not added, and if it was added, if the New World Translation, whoever translated that version of the Bible, if they would have added it, it wouldn't have made sense. Like, for example, like let's go to so John 1:18. If you scroll down, same chapter. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. So no one has seen God at any time.
Yeah.
So John 1:18, this is the Greek here. So God, this is the Greek, right? So
Yeah.
God, no one has seen ever yet. So that word theon, so
Yeah.
God, there's no definite article there. But if the New World Translation was consistent, then they would have put no one has seen a God at any time. You see what I'm saying?
But here's again context, because just because in this sentence I'm using these words,
Yeah.
it's different words for another sentence. So every translator, no matter what religion, must use some discretion as to what conveys the meaning. And what's consistent with how the grammar is rendered. Right?
I think okay, so it's not my position we're arguing against. It's the Watchtower's position. So the article, and you can look it up yourself at home.
Yeah.
It mentions Greek grammar.
Yeah.
It says because there's no indefinite article before the word being God, like God,
Yeah.
then we're adding an a, because that makes sense. But here, there's no definite article in John 1:18, and this is just one example out of many.
Yeah.
John 1:18 has no definite article or indefinite article, obviously, before God, but the New World Translation doesn't put a. You see what I'm saying? So if that version of the Bible was consistent and added a before every time there's no definite article, then it wouldn't make sense. But they put it at John 1:1 because of that interpretation, that bias, that Jesus is not God.
Even if that article was not there, which that's more of a recent, like many people were Jehovah's Witnesses or are Jehovah's Witnesses that exclusively use other translations for most of their life, other like.
And then you would have a problem then.
Well, this is what I'm saying is they didn't, right?
So if you read the KJV, the ESV, the NKJV, the NASB, any other Bible translation, you wouldn't get that a before God. Then you would have a contradiction. Then that would make the word God himself. You see what I'm saying? Do you get my point though, what I'm saying? Because I don't want to walk away and then you're like, oh, this weird guy came up to me and da-da-da. Hey everyone, if you want a great way to share the gospel, or maybe you just want a simple hat with a scripture reference on it, this Isaiah 53 cap is now available on my merch store. I designed this myself. The printing is embroidered and the strap on the back is adjustable. You can get one now on claytossapparel.com. Even in Colossians 1:15, Colossians 1, he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. Let's keep going. So look, for by him, all things were created. All things.
So here's another translation.
I just want to make my point.
The verse actually says all other things, all things aside.
So that's funny that you bring that up. So here, Colossians 1, 15. This is the Greek. He is the image of the God. See the definite article. Invisible, firstborn over all creation. Because in him were created all things. There's no other. 4 or 5 times the New World Translation adds other. Inserts it when the Greek, I'll challenge you, when I leave, look up the Greek for Colossians 1, 15, 16, 17, 18. You will not find the word other in the Greek, in the original Greek. This is something they add. I'm coming across confrontational. I don't mean that.
No, that's okay.
I'm just being direct.
No, I'm just thinking about what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm showing you
Again,
the Greek, man. Like this is, there's no other. Are you listening?
I am listening.
Every single manuscript in the Greek of Colossians 1 does not have the word other in it. This is something the New World Translation inserts, I think 4 times. And I'm showing you the Greek here. Like, you can go on any Greek interlinear Bible. Even go on jw.org. Yeah, go where the 3 dots are.
I know, would you say they're interesting points? Like, I do want to research further because it's obviously things I don't remember off the bat. Again, it's not something I've ever had an issue with. No, it's interesting. But again, like, it kind of sounds like you have your mind made up quite strongly.
Well, my initial point was John 1:1.
Yeah. I gotta take a break now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I gotta go too. But look what happened. Just 2 seconds. Look what happened. You said that the word other is there, and I said check the Greek. You check the Greek, and the word other is not there.
But
so who's right? Who's wrong?
the,
right?
the grammar there has other words that you also didn't have in your Greek. So
you gotta show me examples. But I know you gotta go.
So I'm like, if there was other words that are missing from your Greek music,
No,
like,
but
I don't know.
adding other changes the meaning. You see what I'm saying? The Greek says all things were created through him. Even John chapter 1 verse 3. All things were made through him, the word. All things. How come you don't? Oh yeah, how come the word other is not there? If you check the New World Translation, John 1:3, there's no other. It says all things were made through the word.
It kind of seems like you're taking things out of context to
How?
make a point. But
I'm just responding to it. That's okay.
I gotta go.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
okay.
nice talking to
Hey,
you.
can I shake your hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take
All right, take care. Yeah.